Today's episode, I hope, will be all about progress, making it as far into this season in a reasonable amount of time as we can. However, there's no real guarantee as far as what this episode's going to be. Our current grade right now is a 62. That's not low enough to get us fired traditionally, but we need to continue this somewhat hot start to the season. 6 points through 4 games, of course, 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses. We have a little bit of pressure on our shoulders. The direction that we took in the last episode, going with the more straightforward approach, has seemingly worked, but yeah, there is absolutely that pressure right now for this team to continue to do well. And because I managed to forget to, let's go with Duarte up top, of course, and the second team is going to be a little bit different. We're still going to have Kelly on the bench there, though. That's the one difference. As opposed to a few years ago, a few seasons ago, I think when we were still in the championship and we were running in tournaments, I tried to make sure we had as many players get playing time as we could. Now it's just all about making sure that the best of the best get time to play. So that said, due to the injury, it's actually going to be Tabucci who gets a chance there, and Duarte, you know what, might not be on the bench. I think we are going to go with Ewan Morgan. There were a couple of different ways we discussed at the end of the last episode the team could be set up. I think that's how the second team is going to run at the moment. That's if, of course, there are not players who are loaned out, and that is what we are going to get to, of course. I mean, Youngbauer and Bello, there are offers out right now for Zouabri and Tabucci. I don't really know how this team is going to change. Let's start off by simming this game against Palace. It is our first team starting this one off. Leicester and Barnsley, 2 teams that they've beaten recently, them being Palace. They did just lose to Arsenal, though. In terms of their lineup, they do have some familiar names. This could be a tough game for us to win. Berezovsky picks up a yellow card. I'm going to keep this one live. Mayr gets hurt. He's not immediately subbed out, though, so it's not going to be a major injury. Kelly comes on and scores 2 minutes later. That is a major goal for us. And barring a brutal collapse, we are going to walk away with a point in this game to start off this episode. We're going to walk away with all 3 points. Jonathan Kelly gets the only goal, the winning goal of the game. I guess the question is, how roughed up is one Moritz Mayr? I think I called him Timo already. His nickname's Timo. Let's take a look here. So Cordoba, I'm sorry, but shit happens. We get a loan offer for our young goalkeeper, Reese Harris. Hopefully that goes through. An offer for Roldan hasn't gone through, which is fine. I never offered to even get rid of him. 3 days for Moritz Mayr, and aside from that, we're good to go. That's a decent way to start then. We pick up a big-time win despite an injury, and we're good to go. So, in the interest of making progress, I kind of want to stay alive, though, because of that Carabao Cup match coming up against West Brom. Let's stay alive for the moment, maybe. Maybe. We'll see how much progress we can make. Now, Duarte is close to going up to that next level. We are going to get him there. Let's go with a training session that can focus on stamina, trying to get that up. As for a lot of our players, again, stamina progression just hasn't been there, as frustrating as that is. It's going to take a week or two to get Duarte up to that next ranking, but that is all right. And long passing, not really as important, is it? Let's go with vision, crossing, and curve, or vision or curve free accuracy. Yeah, let's go with the long shots. He has 94 long shots as it is. He's an absolute monster. Kelly, unfortunately, no longer a promising player, but still a good role player for the team. Is there anybody else who's close to going up to that next level on the main team? Timo Aaltonen is very, very close. We'll try to get that stamina up there and something defensively. So 2 starters at the moment, at the very least, are going to be the ones that we focus upon here. Let's focus on, I guess we'll go vision and short passing, and maybe the vision would be enough to get him up to the next level. It is not, but that's okay. That's okay. We're looking fine regardless. So let's go ahead and send to this next game. We are currently in 6th place in the league. The Youngbauer move falls through. Will Bram de Graaf find his way over to Hull in January? Hopefully he would. Our grade has dropped even more despite the win. That is tragic. That is horrifying, to be honest. Again, a reminder of what we're being expected to do. Finishing in a Europa League spot, which is 5th place, which isn't going to happen. Reaching the quarterfinal of the FA Cup might happen. In terms of brand exposure, I mean, we might be able to get those. They're both kind of random. And then making a profit off of youth player sales within 2 seasons. I mean, every player we have has been a youth sale, so I'm not sure why we technically haven't hit that, unless it's, like, brand new. Like, that's really weird, and we should have had that done already. Abilo Bello will be going out to NEC Beretta. I know where they play, but it's not coming to mind. And Reese Harris could potentially go to Leeds, which would be nice, and unless they've been dropped, that means we'll have 2 teams or 2 goalkeepers on championship teams, which is very weird. We play Watford on the weekend, and then, of course, the second team unit will get that opportunity against West Brom. So the first team is good to go. Let's see what happens against Watford. They have losses to Reading and Leicester. They did pick up a win against Arsenal, though, which is huge for them. Can we get the job done? They do have some familiar names. Morgan scores in the 8th minute. Reyes Ambulia is able to tie it 2 minutes later. I'm going to guess that's Eric Dyer. Carter Vickers is there. Sandro up top. It's a little bit rough. We still have the draw going right now with half an hour left. Is there a late winner to be had? That is the question. 10 minutes left. Anderson's on for Arne. Granero gets hurt. And we end up picking up a point. But Granero being hurt could be devastating and would result in us calling back one of our keepers who are out on loan. We'll try to loan out Anthony Williams to the San Jose Earthquakes, if that'll go through. Montandon's almost back. 9 days. Okay, Granero should not miss a start. That could have been an outright disaster to have him miss any time long term. And to be honest, he might miss 1 start next weekend. Time will tell. As Teemu Aaltonen manages to go up to an 81. Indeed, the vision was enough to get him there. And we'll see what happens. Our first tournament match of the season. Very intrigued to see what happens here against West Brom. We get another loan offer to, actually, that's not. I was going to say for a second, I'm like, that's not the Philadelphia Union. Thought it was 2 MLS clubs. Yeah, and Montandon should be back as well, which is a major, major boost. So I might run Duarte. God, we play Liverpool coming up. That's going to be rough. Denmark, I love you. That's not going to happen, though. No international management in this series. That'll probably be the primary focus of the next series. As, again, we might have to change up the second team here. Torben Weber wants to play, which he's probably going to. He is on that second team. How good's Duarte, stamina-wise? Duarte is good to play. And Mayr might have to play 2 games in quick succession. Either that, or I give Harris this game and let Mayr play on the weekend. I'm going to let Mayr play. He should be capable of it. Montandon, I'm going to play it safe here. We're still going to start Tabucci. Let's keep the second team as it is, just because I don't know for sure if Montandon will be back to 100% for that game against Liverpool. So it's our first cup match here in the Carabao Cup of the season. They're coming off of 2 wins against Charlton Athletic and Crawley Town. Can we get the win? Jonathan Lecco still up top for them. Richardson gets a goal. Running at left back lately. He gets the goal in the 13th minute. That's a big advantage for us. We're halfway through this game. Can we get an insurance goal? Anderson, Kelly, anybody would be great. Morgan's on for Kelly. 20 minutes left, down to 10. Is that enough for the win? Yes, it is. The goal in the 13th minute from Richardson holds. It's another victory for Tranmere Rovers and a major victory for the younger second team. And we're looking good despite that rating still being under a 60. As hopefully Bram de Graaf can go back home to the Netherlands to play for a local team. That would be great. And you'd figure that loan offer would go through, but you can't always say with certainty. A loan offer for Evaristo Roldan. That would be nice if that would go through after having a couple of clubs immediately go for a transfer offer for him. Granero, I hope you're back to 100% for this game against Liverpool. If you are, you'll play, and you're not. So there is 0 chance of that happening. There is no way you're playing. And indeed, Walter Mayr is going to get consecutive starts, and will have the biggest start of his career. Montandon will also not be playing, nor will he be on the bench. I don't want to risk it. So this is a major test against Liverpool. I'm not sure where they are in the standings right now. They're coming off of a win against Olympiacos, a draw against Arsenal, and somehow they lost to Huddersfield. I would like to think that was a cup match. It's a home game, though. Can we defend? Can we make this happen? Their squad is still ridiculous. Duarte scores on a pen, and then Mina ties it 6 minutes later. Every time you start to get excited, they still have Alisson in goal. Mustafi is there. Jose Gaia, Marquinhos. It's ridiculous. Of course, Mo Salah is still up top. Kai Havertz there as well. Oh boy, 20 minutes left. We are currently tied. Can we hold on? Diego Jota scores. Is there a late goal to steal a point? There is not. There is not. Mayr did well, only giving up 2 goals to a high-powered Liverpool offense, but we do fail that first big test. Granero, you weren't healthy at all. Shut your face. I say that with the utmost respect, knowing that you are going to be leading this team for years to come at this point. Shut your face. You were never going to start that game. So with that, again, we might as well just stay live. We might as well not jump cut with it because we're good to go. I mean, we're about to have our scouting reports come back, so we'll figure out a time to do a flash forward. Maybe. If not, we won't do it at all this episode. Time will tell. Let's focus on the goalkeepers here with this batch of training. Let's get Mayr and Granero hopefully up to that next level. Harris, I'm sorry, nothing for you, unfortunately. You're not close enough to going up to that next level. As far as the defenders are concerned, Roldan, let's see if we can worry about the stamina for you. And those will be the 3 that we focus upon. Nobody makes it up to the next level. Just a little bit unfortunate, but that's okay. We can deal with it. Let's see. Next game. When will it be? Probably Saturday, and it is. Playing Swansea. We'll see what we can do. Oh, that training injury could be bad. Let's see. A weak injury for Galeano. Not horrific. And Bram de Graaf has been loaned out, which is nice. He'll be leaving in January. What about Kude, though? Will he be following some of the other players that are on their way out as of this January? A lot of the young players, of course, that we signed. We have a log jam of talent there, so the more players that leave, the better to keep the youth academy pumping out talent. So we'll see what we can do here. We do have our scouting updates before this game. Mr. Barr, what do you got for us in Argentina? Eusebio Romero, we will probably be signing. Let's see, though. Is there anybody that just makes all the sense in the world to cut? Moyano, probably, with him only being a 48. Is there anybody more obvious? Prado's not that bad. There is no obvious player to get rid of outside of Morales. That just goes to show the talent level that we have in this organization right now. It's ridiculous. To the point where Ponce and Luna might be worth signing. Vasco Morales might be worth signing. Prado is definitely worth signing. So, Prado, congratulations. We're going to sign you because we really have no choice. That way we can bring in Eusebio. Is there anybody else? Oh, God, there is. There's at least one more. Rodolfo Arnay. And we'll sign him up as well. Everybody else, though, including the 65 to an 89, is going to have to wait. Mr. Morris, what do you have for us in Uruguay? You have Simon Prado, who will probably be signed. Oh, boy. Okay. Yep, this is about to get different. Wow. Uruguay, very, very talented region, as we've discovered. So, it's a good thing we got rid of some extra people because more people are joining the club. Manolo Ponce, welcome to the first team. Gil Luna, welcome to the first team. Do we have anybody else? Morales, welcome to the first team, even though you're not going to be able to do anything. And Cuesta, welcome to the senior team. And we will look to bring in Prado, look to bring in Cortez, look to bring in Carvajal, Aguirre, and that should be it. Cardenas would be the last one. Good Lord, please tell me we have a 60 on this team. Diaz might be good enough. The problem is he might drop. He might drop. I'm still going to sign him. We have room on the senior team to do so. All right, Cardenas, welcome aboard. We still have one more nation to check out after signing half of the youth academy immediately. It's Kennedy in Paraguay, and I was hoping there wouldn't be anybody. Virgilio Vera is going to have to be signed. Is there anybody in the 60s? There is not. Granero's a 41 at 15. Is there anybody who's an obvious cut here? The answer is no. So I know there was a 58. That's Haber, but he can't be signed. A 59 in Miranda. Is there anybody else here? Cortez. Not that I want to sign another goalkeeper, but it might be worth it. It is going to be Geronimo Miranda, who gets signed immediately, basically. And we're going to sign Vera, and we'll hold off on signing Oriana. So that was rather successful. Wouldn't you agree? The question is now sorting out what the hell this organizational depth looks like with the amount of players that we just signed. Let's take a look at everybody new to the club. So in terms of attributes, again, Mayr is here. That is fine. Morales at 6'4". We'll immediately set him up to go out on loan, and hopefully he does leave, and then eventually that might be the death knell for Dragojevic with the club. Just out of necessity, we'll probably have to get rid of a goalkeeper sooner rather than later, or at least heading into next season. Who else do we have? So Roldan is on the loan list. Who else is new? Leandro Diaz is new. 6'2", low-medium work rates. That's not terrible. 3-star, 3-star. The Ecuadorian, of course, we'll try to loan out immediately. As Williams and Zouabri are still on the list. Who else is new? Geronimo Miranda, 3-star, 3-star, high work rates. Good stuff. Good stuff. He could be a strong option for us in the future. Gil Cuesta, not so much. That's really weird for a right mid. 5-star, 3-star at 5'7", low-high work rates. That is a very weird player setup. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. He would honestly be better as a CDM as opposed to a right mid, but he'll be here for now. Lisandro Prado, 3-star, 3-star, high-medium. Solid for a center mid. I like that. It's not too bad. We know we have somebody else here too. That would be Gil Luna, 3-star, 3-star, high-low work rates for the center forward camp. Not bad at all. Set him up to go out on the loan list. And Ponce, 3-star, 3-star, medium. That's not too bad. 6'2" as a right wing. I'll play you at striker, buddy. Make use of that height. And that is it. So the squad's looking just a little bit bloated at the moment, but we should be okay. Unfortunately, with the first team here, Galeano is going to have to sit out of this game. But I think now will be the first time that we jump ahead a little bit. So I will see you either on November 1st, before we play Everton, or if something interesting happens this month. We play Swansea, Stoke, Chelsea, and have a Carabao Cup match against Fulham. I'd like to think we can win 3 out of 4 games. In Granero's first game back, a 2-1 win over Swansea, he gets injured again. And this time will be out for 2 months. And I think the only choice we have is to recall Dragojevic and then probably look to sell him in January. But we have no option. Granero out for 2 months. And again, that leaves us no choice. We have to recall Nemanja Dragojevic from Fulham. He will be the first team keeper for the foreseeable future, with Mayr still heading up the second team unit. So, Nemanja, welcome back. You're a club legend. That's $740K off of the bloated transfer budget. He's up to an 85, by the way. Of course, all that transfer money that's just sitting there, that beautiful transfer money, at least came in handy. That is a brutal, devastating injury at a really just unfortunate time. There's never a good time to lose your best keeper for 2 months. But yeah, that certainly wasn't ideal. While the month of October was kind to us in terms of results, I can't say it was kind to us in terms of injuries, as Archie Bailey is now out for 2 months, and of course there was the major injury to Reynaldo Granero. It's been rough. That said, the results, for the most part, were still positive. We picked up that 2-1 win against Swansea where Granero was hurt. We beat Stoke 2-0, ended up drawing Chelsea on the road 2-2 before the second team that you just saw get absolutely smashed by Fulham in the Carabao Cup. So overall, I'm feeling pretty good about where we are right now. We're still in the top half of the league table, currently in 7th with 17 points through 10 games. Overall, it's been positive. Now, of course, the board isn't very happy about that, clearly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We also have a couple of players who will be going out on loan rather soon, as of January. Right now, though, we need to get this first team reestablished, and I've been having to mix and match, and it hasn't really even been worth trying to establish the first team sheet, second team sheet, because of the unfortunate injuries. Johannessen is also banged up. He's not out for long, but he is going to miss this next game. So it's been a little bit of rough sailing here. Richardson will be on the bench alongside Weber for this next game. And as far as the attacking options go, we might have to go all out. Montandon and Duarte up top, as Mayr has dropped down, but I'm tempted to run these three up top. It would make the bench a little bit weaker, but overall, I'd say it's probably worth it, as Tabucci will have a spot on the bench instead. And of course, you'll see who would end up being on the bench otherwise in terms of an offensive option. Let's get Miro Aaltonen back in there. Let's go with Cordoba on the bench and Morgan on the bench, and we should be good to go. You know what? I am actually going to more than likely make that change. Tabucci isn't necessarily taking a spot away from anybody, but I don't know. It's tough to have this group of players on the bench. I think we're gonna let's go Morgan back up top, and let's bring in Cordoba. Anderson's still our super sub, so Berezovsky and Arne aren't in the starting lineup anymore. That's the one negative to the team right now, but I think we're good. I'm hoping that this squad is good enough to walk away with at least a point here against Everton. They have drawn Leicester and Juventus, but they are coming off a 3-0 thrashing over Arsenal. It is a pretty strong team. Let's sim this, and I will take a 2-2 draw. Duarte with a penalty in the 66th minute. Richardson, though, ties it 4 minutes later. I'll take it. I will take it. We're getting points against very good teams. I mean, they are currently third. That's something that we can't claim to have done consistently in the past few seasons. As Kelly's up to a 79, Harris is up to a 67. We're still desperately trying to get Youngbauer up to a 68. Who else is really close to going up to that next overall? Cordoba is. And the stamina is very close to going up. He should hit this next overall, the 80 overall milestone here. Oh yeah, he'll hit this. There's no way he won't. He would have to have 2 disastrous training sessions. I still want to make sure he gets there, though, no matter what, even the attacking position. Cordoba should be an 80, and he is. Youngbauer, though, staying at a 67 for now. Next week, he should be on the way up. Now, the big question here is, what the hell are the Youth Academy signings going to look like? Especially after we went crazy last month. It is the final few reports here from these 3 nations. We'll see if we can loan out Youngbauer to FC Sion, a Swiss team, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see what we're dealing with here from Paraguay. Do we have anybody worth signing? That is the question, and the answer is yes, with Alfonso Bello. And Cortez probably worth signing as well. Let's see if there's anybody who should obviously be dropped. Abilo Cortez is one of those players. Romero is definitely one of those players. So I know it was risky to sign some of the guys that we signed immediately just to be sure that we had space for everybody, but I don't totally regret it. Arne might still be worth keeping. So for now, we're okay. I expect other numbers to drop. So let's go for Bello. And let's go for Cortez for now. And we'll see what we find in Uruguay. Cabrera, I'm going to sign him for the moment. And, I mean, we have to sign Correa, which is ridiculous. So, a lot of these guys are risking being dropped, unfortunately. Arne, I'm sorry, it's not going to be good enough. You are on the way out. Is there another obvious player to get rid of? Not necessarily. So let's go ahead and sign Ronaldo Correa. Oh my God, Miranda needs to be signed as well. Is there anybody who is blatantly obvious to sign right now in terms of overall? The answer appears to be no. So is there anybody who's older and a lower overall, mainly in the red, with a 40, who's not going to be worth signing? Cortez, we don't need other keepers. Screw it. You're gone. You are gone. Let's bring in Gil Miranda because he is ridiculous. Dominguez, oh my goodness. Uruguay is a gold mine. An absolute gold mine. And Miranda is worth signing ASAP. That is ridiculous. Yes, please. Or I can hit... oh my God, our team's full. I thought I accidentally released him. We have a full club, which I thought we were avoiding, but I had to sign so many people earlier that, yeah, we've hit that log jam. We have hit that log jam. The easy solution is to drop Ewan Morgan. We have the money to do so, of course. So Ewan Morgan's going to be outright released from his contract, rather than him finishing up the year. We're going to promote Miranda. Easy for me to say. And now I get to panic a little bit because there's no doubt about it. It can only be the best of the best who gets signed from here. The good thing is Dominguez is the last player from this batch of Uruguayans that should be scouted, but it has to be the best of the best. And there are a lot of good players here as it is. That's the problem. That is the problem. There is a ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous amount of talent. And if someone's down in the 40s, but God, his potential's so good. I'm so tempted to drop them if it's going to take them forever to develop. But, all right, so like Moyano's gone. He's a 48 at 16 years old. No doubt he's gone. He has to be. He's the obvious one to get rid of. We will go ahead and sign Telmo Dominguez. And I pray that there's nobody worth signing out of Argentina. There will be. Case in point with Castaneda, which is ridiculous. And thankfully, he's the only one. Osvaldo Castaneda. This is interesting. Who the hell are we going to bring in or get rid of? Aguirre can go. 71 to 91 is pretty good, but he's a 56 and 17 years old. We can drop him. We have other keepers that are a little bit better. So let's sign Castaneda. And then I'm very tempted to just not scout anybody for the moment until we can sort out what this roster is going to be. Because, again, we have this ridiculous logjam of talents. And I needed to be a bit more selective. I was hoping we'd still had a few more spaces. Of course, someone like Gil Luna was signed. And the big one here was Miranda. I want to see how good he is. 5-star, 4-star, high-low work rates. Jesus Christ. He is going to be an absolute monster. And that complicates things. We might have to look at recalling certain players in January, double-checking what this roster looks like in terms of who's worth keeping around, and then getting rid of people from there. It is a great situation to have, having this much talent to decide between, but I think for now, we more than I'm still going to scout, but it's only the best of the best that can go to the youth academy. And if somebody tries to force their way out of the academy, that is going to cause a lot of trouble. Chile is the last nation in South America that we need to scout, so we will send Andrew Kennedy there. And then Callum Morris. It's a big question. Where do we want to go? I'm going to save kind of Europe for last. I think we're going to Africa next. I think we're going to go Africa. We're going to go Australia, New Zealand, and then back up and to the west. So Africa is first Let's start up north. We're going to Morocco and Algeria as the World Tour continues. So there you go. Morocco and Algeria are on the board, and we should be okay, I would hope. Let's sim another month as far as what's to come. We have a league match against Burnley, Southampton, and Leicester. Let's see how it goes. Despite the fact that we are in 6th place in the league table as of December 1st, we still find ourselves with an extremely poor rating, which hopefully will find itself turning around sooner rather than later. And it's not totally out of the realm of possibility that we could finish in a top spot. Now, here's the thing. There's still 24 games to go this season. We have a long way to go. But it's much more promising to see Tranmere Rovers in 6th as opposed to way the hell down here, where we became just a little bit too accustomed to being in the past season and a half. That said, we have scouting reports to get to and potentially some decisions to make. We are going to look over the roster. We have had quite a few players be set up to go out on loan as of January 1st, so that will be nice to see that happen. But again, we currently have the logjam of talent where we might have the issue of if someone from the youth academy forces their way out, we have no way to sign them. So we'll take a look over the roster. We'll see how everyone's been performing this season so far and take a look at the overall team depth as well to see what we're dealing with. Now, we're not going to try to sign anybody unless they are can't miss, and thankfully Chile disappointed us just a little bit. Out of Morocco, is that a can't miss? I'm going to say no. That is no longer a can't miss. I know it's a 94, and with him being 6'5", he's probably going to be a dominant center back, although with the way this game works, he's probably going to be a right back. 46 to a 62. I'm going to say that's not a can't miss. That could easily go down to like a 70 out of 88, so we'll hold off. Colucci as well, 73 to a 94. It's going to be a lower overall. We're going to hold off on signing him. Rachid Benzekri, I should say. Still way too low of an overall. And Akoya, oh God, those names. We're going to hold off. I think all of them, the overalls are going to be a bit too low. We know the potentials are solid, but let's start to have that patience level, which we have lacked throughout this series in terms of being like 94. We're immediately jumping on it. So unless it's a can't miss, we're going to hold off. Same here with Tachini, 51 to a 67. I'm going to hold off there. 73 to a 94. Still has a lower overall. I'm not going to sign a single player out of that group. We are going to go over the current players that we have in the Youth Academy, though, just to see if there's anyone who it makes sense to get rid of. And I'm sure there will be. Cabrera, I could still be half decent, but you know what, buddy? I'm going to get rid of you. It's not bad, but I'm going to get rid of you. Dominguez as well, 70 to a 90. We're going to drop him. 72 to an 88, but a 49 overall. Castaneda disappoints and will be released. 81 to an 87 for Carvajal. If he was better than a 52 at 17 years old, we'd keep him. And from there, I think we're okay. There's only one guy with a stupidly low rating, and that's Granero, but he is an 84 to a 94. If he could somehow make that work out, that would be great. So to recap what happened throughout the month of November, we, of course, ended up drawing Everton 2-2. We beat Burnley 2-0, had 2 weeks off before we beat Southampton 2-1, and drew Leicester. So an undefeated month. Not that bad. But as I meant to show you, it's a busy month ahead. Arsenal, Forest, Spurs, West Ham, and Man City before we go into a not-so-busy January, but still a very important January with the amount of players who are going to be leaving the club on loan and potentially in general, which brings me to a quick season recap. Now, of course, when we look at our goalkeepers, we did not expect to have to recall Dragojevic. Granero will be back in just 2 days, and I can't help but think with how this team is set up right now and the issue that we have of it being a full roster, the best move might be to sell Dragojevic in January, have Granero. Mayr's up to a 79 at 19 years old. He's good enough to be the second choice now. I feel a little bit more confident in that. I, of course, panicked a little bit by recalling Dragojevic, but with Granero being back, I think we sell Dragojevic, have Granero and Mayr. And then here's the thing, between Harris and Morales, Harris is a 67 at 18 years old, Morales is a 64 at 17. I think we sell one of them, right? I think we at least get something for them. Neither is going to get the full-time offer that we need, and I would rather sell one and loan out the other, right? Makes sense, hopefully. So let me know what you think. Harris worth 1.5, Morales still a little bit under, but of course that's tied into overall. But let me know what you think. Goalkeeping situation, in my opinion, though, sell Dragojevic, keep Granero, Mayr, and then whatever one between the two of Harris and Morales don't end up being sold, or whatever one gets loaned out first. Right back-wise, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, really. We're still good with O'Leary, Kovac, and Lunde. I mean, ideally, I'd say more than likely Kovac ends up being sold, but for now, we're good with the latter of the two being on loan. Of course, for the right back, left back situation, we still have O'Leary, we have Johannessen, and then Roldan. But you could argue with the logjam of talent we have right now, maybe now's the right time to recall Kovac and sell him. And you could even make the argument for Thomas Lunde to be sold as well. Not that I want to do that, but carrying 5 right backs on the roster doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. So I think, again, O'Leary is no doubt our starter, but secondary option, Johannessen. And then I think we allow ourselves to have a depth option and a prospect. So between Kovac, Lunde, and Roldan, I think we have probably Lunde as our depth option and Roldan as our prospect who gets loaned out. And I think Kovac's the odd man out. We recall him and try to sell him. Let me know what you think. I'm going to jump over to left back as well because that situation's a bit more straightforward. We have Medved, we have Richardson as a secondary option, and then we loan out Villalba. I still don't think Villalba, though, is the long-term solution, but it's still worth keeping him just so the fact that, we have 3 left backs as a natural position. I just simply think 5 right backs, that's at least 1 too many. Center back-wise, of course, we signed quite a few guys here. Ideally, we'd have 6. Right now, we have 7. So you could make the argument of just immediately dealing Leandro Diaz, who we ended up signing from the Youth Academy. Might just be worth getting rid of him now because Zouabri and Williams, same age, better overall. I think he's the right guy to get rid of. And as far as what happens heading into January, we still have Galeano and Wright as the starters. Secondary options are still Bailey and Weber for now. Weber, of course, is not a long-term solution for a depth option. And then we try to loan out Williams and Zouabri. I think Diaz is on the way out. Let me know if you disagree with that. As we move into the midfield, there's a lot here. There's a lot here, especially if we consider CDMs and center mids kind of paired up. There's a lot to dissect. So you'd have the argument, we have some really strong options here, but right now, obviously on the roster, we have Aaltonen and Cordoba. In terms of who's on roster that's loaned out, we just have to make that decision. If we want to kind of keep Geronimo Miranda, I believe he's scheduled to be loaned out. Diaby's currently on loan. Bailey and Cano also gone, but we could recall and sell whoever we wanted to. But obviously the starter is a non-factor. That's a non-decision. Aaltonen and Cordoba are the 2 main men there. In terms of right mids, we've started to build up a little bit of a stockpile. Gil Cuesta is not looking that bad, but is he going to make it ahead of Youngbauer? Probably not. He does have the 5-star skills. And in terms of that right side anyway, if we wanted to branch out and have a more right wing, right mid-centric lineup between Cuesta, Youngbauer, and the right wings, we have Ponce. So that's basically all we have for that right-hand side. It might be worth keeping all 3 of them for now, but as far as the formation moving forward, there's no doubt we just stick to something more, middle-based, center field-based. That said, as far as center mids as well, we do have Prado, Bello, and Kude, which you could argue Idris Kude could be sold rather than waiting for him to develop and catch up to Bello and Prado, who are both looking strong. You see the amount of depth that we have here. We simply have too many guys. And while, yes, I'd love to loan people out and keep them on roster in case they develop, I want to have at least a couple of open roster spots in case someone very, very important wants out of that youth academy. As far as the left-hand side is concerned, of course, we have Zahner out on loan. Anderson is there. We just don't have the right wing to match the talent level on that left-hand side. We also, though, I mean, that left-hand side is stacked. Fuentes, Villalba, Guzman, and Sanchez all loaned out right now. So as far as what happens there, I'm not sure. In terms of my favorite option, I mean, it's probably Villalba, especially over Fuentes. In terms of same age, and you look at the overall, we have to make some changes. There's no doubt about that. You look at the cams as well. I mean, De Groot could probably be dropped. I still hate Romero's work rates, but he's developing relatively well. And then Gil Miranda was just signed as well. And Berezovsky, of course, been a long-term member of this team. And then up top, not just with this batch of 5 players here, with Duarte, Breen, Mayr, Luna, who we just signed, who could immediately be sold, and Montandon. But you look at the actual strikers with DeGraff, Kelly, and Tabucci. We have to decide here. We have to decide. Do we want to base it off of age and overall? Do we want to base it off of, well, it says that this player is promising. It's just, all of our players are promising. All of our players are special talents, basically. It's just, we need to free up a couple of spots to play it safe. So, we'll see what happens. I wanted to get your opinion of it before we head into January so we can set things up and know exactly what we want to do. But overall, a successful episode for us. Again, currently in 6th place, minus an injury to the starting keeper. It's been great, and we've still found ourselves in 6th thanks to the organizational depth. But that depth is now becoming a bit of a problem. I'll see you guys in the next one. More progress will be made, of course. We'll be going through the January transfer window as well, where a lot more could change about the team. I thank you for those who are still supporting and enjoying the series. I'm still having fun with it, and I'm not ready to give up at all. I want to win with this team. There's no doubt about it. And right now, we're on a much, much better path than we had been in the previous few years. But maybe we're due for another collapse. You never quite know. Why not put that evil out into the world?